Hey guys, it's Destiny, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the characters I have found the most success when it comes to endgame, and characters I think you should invest into when it comes to endgame content, like Memory of Chaos. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. To begin, I'd like to first discuss this Clara team, which I have showcased in my prior video. This team is very strong, as Clara and Yukong are the DPS characters of the team, Luocha is the healer, and Silverwolf is the debuffer. So Yukong and Clara are able to do even more damage. You don't need Silverwolf necessarily in this team comp, as Pela can work just fine as well for reducing enemies' defenses. Clara has very good synergy with Luocha's field, which is the Abyss Flower field, as she can create a taunt on herself with her ultimate, and every follow-up attack that hits the enemy when his field is active will heal the entire team, which creates very consistent healing for the entire team. I make my Yukong slower than my Silverwolf, so my Silverwolf is able to debuff the enemy, and then Yukong can skill an ultimate and take advantage of the debuffs on the enemy to do even more damage, as my Yukong can hit very high numbers as a result, which makes her a great damage dealer on my team. This team can be very skill point efficient as well, as Silverwolf doesn't really need to skill that often, she could do it occasionally. Yukong can skill pretty often, and I can either basic attack with Luocha or skill if I need emergency heals, and Clara's skill can be good for additional damage as well, but it's technically not needed if the follow-up attacks are pretty consistent and the enemy keeps attacking her. Overall though, this team is incredibly strong, as I was able to 3-star Memory of Chaos Floor 9 with this team. I feel like this update 1.1 rather is really good for Clara. It was like a huge buff for Clara, honestly, as Luocha, Yukong, and Silverwolf are very good partners with her, and this team feels very smooth rotation-wise, damage-wise, and is quickly becoming one of my favorite teams in Honkai Star Rail. I mean, who doesn't love seeing Clara's counterattacks destroy the enemy? I know I do. Now though, let's discuss the next team, which is the Seele team. Seele is quite powerful with the correct supports, and majority of characters in that lane can help her quite a lot. Well, Silverwolf, Pela, Bronya, Yun, and so on are very good partners for Seele, as they can all benefit her in some way or form, whether it's slowing down the enemies with Welt, reducing defenses with Pela or Silverwolf, or increasing your own damage potential with Bronya or Yun. These supportive characters are ideal for the job. As for sustain, Gepard is an excellent choice due to his team-wide shields. Bailu can be nice for reviving if need be, and the invigoration. Natasha is good for heals and cleansing, and Luocha is a nice partner since, due to the fact Seele attacks multiple times in her turn cycles from Resurgence, she can heal your team up by quite a lot due to the Abyss Flower field being active. I have also cleared Memory of Chaos 9, that same floor I mentioned just now, with a Seele team on the second half, and feel like she was definitely worth the investment. Additionally, if you are enjoying the video so far, hit the subscribe button, and now let's carry on. Now for Yanqing, he is also a very powerful DPS who can take advantage of not needing as much crit rate and stack on crit damage to do big numbers. Yanqing's skill kit gives him a lot of crit rate, and as a result he's able to build a bunch of crit damage and wipe the floor with the enemy. This is even better with teammates like Gepard for shields to upkeep Yanqing's buffs, and Gepard having higher taunts in his traces. Pela is really good as well for massively reducing enemy defenses, and either a sub DPS, another buffer, or a debuffer is nice for your 4th slot. If you do have Silverwolf, you can stack on the defense reduction since they are separate debuffs from Pela and Silverwolf, and as a result lower the enemy's defensive capabilities by quite a lot. Yanqing can fully take advantage of this as well due to how much he increases his crit rate and crit damage, so his ultimate and even his skill does a lot of damage. Overall, Yanqing is an incredible 5-star to invest into and has high potential for damage output, breeze comps with him and Gepard, and so on. As for a Jing Yuan team, he's quite good as well, but he does require a good amount of investment, I'd say. Jing Yuan wants quite a lot of crit rate and crit damage, since ideally you'd want his lightning lure to crit often when these strikes occur in order to do a lot of damage on enemies. Ideal teammates can be Yun for buffing his attack, damage, and lightning damage. Asta is really good as well for more speed and attack buffs, as well as Asta being a breaker on your team as well as a support. And then a sustain character would be nice as well. You could pick whichever one you have built out on your team as long as you feel like the sustain is enough to keep your team alive. Overall, a strong character that could be very useful in endgame with the right supports. Now I'd like to discuss some notable mentions of characters I also see a lot of potential in and have tested out myself, whether it's on my own account or a friend's account. Himeko is a good damage dealer when she has enough investment put into her. I like using her as a sub DPS with Seele for right now, but her damage potential can be up there with a highly invested build. Unfortunately, there are not many options for Ear Edition light cones right now, and from my experience, Before the Dawn is the strongest one on her, which is a gacha light cone. I would still recommend building Himeko though if you have the right teammates or an indicated role for her, which can be sub DPS break or with crit, possibly main DPS with 2 supports as a hyper carry type of comp, and so on. As for my next notable mention, it would be Sushang. Sushang is a very strong 4-star who may secretly be a 5-star with her Phoenix. In all seriousness though, her skill kit is really nice as she can advance her turn forward by 100% with her ultimate. She's a really good 4-star for main DPS investment purposes and can be a very good physical option if you do have her. You can also use her as a sub DPS if you want, but I feel like she definitely has a role to be a main DPS as well. Since I mentioned Sushang, Heng is also a nice option as he can output quite a lot of damage through his skill kit, and since we are currently limited on wind options, he could be an amazing option to invest into. Also, he's free, so it's even better for those who don't have many DPS characters to pick from. Another mention is Qingque. Qingque can be quite powerful, and playing gacha within gacha can be quite interesting to say the least. Qingque has the potential to do quite a lot of damage when you have the correct pieces, and her enhanced attacks are quite good overall. If you have good relics and like Qingque, she could be worthwhile to build, especially if you don't have Seele, since we currently don't have another quantum damage dealer. Well, except for Silverwolf, I guess, since Silverwolf with Eidolons could do quite a lot of damage, but if we're just talking, I guess, Ear Edition or Hunt, then it would be Qingque or Seele. You know what, let's just consider it Seele, Silverwolf, or Qingque. If you don't have Silverwolf and you don't have Seele, then Qingque might be the answer for you. The last thing I'd like to discuss is Kafka Blade, as we do have confirmation they'll be in the 1.2 livestream, which likely indicates they'll be our banner characters for 1.2. I mean, I would hope so since they're quite literally the little chibis in the livestream. Really adorable, by the way. Kafka and Blade will likely be very good for endgame as well as, I mean, if I'm being honest, most limited 5-stars are really good, but just to give a mini rundown on them, Kafka will focus on damage over time, Blade focuses on losing health to do more damage as a quick sum up of what they do. I think this will open the door for more team comps as well, such as Sampo being more relevant, possibly with Kafka and so on. Overall, I think these two will be great for endgame, and once we get more official information on them, I will do my pre-release analysis on them, and once they're here, for their full potential as well. I hope you guys enjoyed my video on which characters and team comps I recommend for endgame. Of course, there are other characters that are quite good as well, which I'd love for you guys to share which characters you found the most success with. I do feel like a lot of the characters in the game can work very well in harder content as long as they're paired with the right team members. Let me know in the comments down below though which characters you guys are currently building and once again have had success with, and if you have any suggestions for characters for me to showcase in Memory of Chaos. Lastly, if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe for more style content, leave a like to support the video, and like always, have a nice one. Peace.